We're here now with my second model, Megan. Just wanted to demonstrate a second technique today. So we're going to start with a nice consultation to see what direction we're going to go in today. So Megan, I know that you have been blonde for years. And do you identify as a blonde?
Yes.
Okay. So what's your normal 6-week appointment look like?
Usually just a highlight all over.
Okay. And are you wanting something a little more lower maintenance?
Yes, I'm looking for lower maintenance. I have a job interview. I have to be a little bit more conservative, so I can't do anything too drastic. I want to stick to what my regular look is.
Okay. So I think if we kept you really blonde in the front, so you feel like a blonde, and then I was thinking if we created just a little shadow in the back, like paint a little color back there and add some low lights throughout that look really natural, but you still feel like a blonde. I think that'd really help with your kind of transition as we change into the fall season and keep it a little lower maintenance for you. Does that sound like something you want to do today?
Sounds great.
Okay, great. What we're going to do first is we're going to start with a little pre-art and clarifying shampoo. So that'll just, I know you've got a little dry shampoo in there, so we'll just cleanse all that out first. Remove any buildup, even out your porosity of the hair, and then I'll check your levels and we'll get started with some color. Does that sound okay?
Sounds great.
Okay, Megan. I've already determined that Megan is a natural level 5, so I've already mixed my lightener because I knew I was going to need that for her highlights today. And I chose the Flash Lift and 20 Volume Pro Oxide Developer. My personal favorite is the Flash Lift. And then for her low light, I am going to mix in the Shades EQ Cream line, the 07WN mixed with the 06NA for her low light and her little base shadow. I'm going to mix that with equal parts to the 10 Volume Pro Oxide Developer.
Dear, be patient, be kind, be lovely as you can be.
So I'm going to start by highlighting her hair, starting in the front. Make sure I've got her part in the right place. Megan, do I have your part in the right place?
You do.
Perfect. And I'll just separate the front quadrants from the back. And then begin working in that front quadrant. So I'm going to use this medium weave. It has been a significant time in between her color, so I'm making sure that I do a medium weave so I can get a lot of lightness in there, particularly around the face. I'm going to start in a horizontal, and then I'm going to kind of tick down at a diagonal, so I just soften up as I go down the section. Feathering that up, and then feathering down where I see any darker pieces there. Fold her up nice and tight. Isolate that weave. And prep my next section of hair there. I love crafting blonde hair colors. No two blondes are alike, varying from their starting natural level to their desired level. Golden blondes, cool blondes, neutral blondes. I just love it. What we're going for Megan is a natural blonde. And with her low light that I mixed in the demi-permanent line to create her shadow in the low light, I chose a level that was lighter than her natural, because I know that because she is lightened, and this has been lightened for years, as long as I've known her, I know that that hair is going to really want to drink that up. So I don't want it to deposit too dark. So I chose a level and a half lighter. So we'll get just the right amount of deposit. And you can see that I'm moving down with a slight angle as I move down the quadrant. I like to apply that lightener just about 1/4 to 1/2 inch below the start of the weave, and then feather that up, angling the brush a bit so I don't get excessive product close to the root. But when that heats up from the heat of her head, I don't want it to swell and create any unpleasant spotting or bleeding. Keeping that really nice and tight makes it easy for me to hold, and not too tight that I can't weave out the perfect section. Just the right amount of product there on my brush, and feathering that up. I'm going to continue working down through this quadrant, and then I'll move over to the next. And then it'll get really exciting when we go to paint that little shadow in the back at her crown. Right at the part line, I'm going to do back-to-back weave. I do want her super light at her part, so she sees that blonde when she's getting ready for work in the morning. Okay, I'm going to put a couple tiny weave, really natural weave highlights in the back, kind of underneath her part line, because I really want that to appear darker and bring that line down just a little bit. So I'm going to do a little peekaboo tiny weave highlights underneath, just so she's not super dark back there in contrast to how light she's going to be in the front. Also, by coming back, which I haven't done yet, but by coming back and just freehanding and weaving some tiny weave low lights through the front in between those super blonde highlights, she'll have a really natural, cohesive color. So I'll start by just weaving a nice, natural, small highlight. Get that one out of there. And again, just painting further down and feathering up to the root, so I don't put a ton of product right there. And, you know, I know it's very important, never put lightener on top of lightener. So I'm just feathering to where I see the darkness. Nothing further, and I'll just leave those guys out. They're plenty blonde enough. Zip that up. Right off the part line there. Clip her out of the way. And work with a small natural weave on the other side. Okay, now for the exciting part. Right here, back. I'll start in the back. I am going to paint it at her new growth just to shine it up and deposit a little bit of color there just for continuity. And I'm almost going to be working in a beanie shape at the crown, just kind of matching the shape of her head. Working in tiny sections, nice see-through sections. And you'll notice, just to keep the circle, I will kind of go into right in between those foils that I did in the front. Again, just to make sure that it looks nice and natural. It's the name of the game. And you can also kind of blend away any of those unpigmented hairs that she may have. Now that we've gotten the circle shadow base application applied, I'm going to come back with a may or may not be homemade tie brush and dip it into my Shades EQ. Start right here with kind of a firm placement and just swipe that down. So it gives us a nice shattered base. I'm just making sure we get the other side. A little thinner of a section there. Firmly place. Just shadow down. And I am going to vary the high and low, how high and low I take that brush, just to keep it nice and natural. And then I'm going to come back and weave through even some of the places that I've shadowed and paint that through in a low light, and I'll do the same in the front between those foils.
Let's start the day off the right way.
How does that feel and look, Megan?
I love it.
I do too. So we finished up with Megan and got her all blown out. Lots of dimension. Rudy in the back, super blonde at the front. I think that'll carry her through the 6-week mark, give her a little bit of longevity, still feel super blonde. So we're all done here. I appreciate you so much taking the time to watch my video, and I look forward to hearing from Redken really soon. Thank you.
'Cause complications